Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so now we're going to be talking about Battlegrounds beta. This node specifically, how Safeguard is going in my opinion compared to the previous node that we got to play with, which was Masochism. And some other issues and comments on the Battlegrounds in general. Right, so first and foremost, let's just check the node. Safeguard prevents champion from losing more than 1% health from single source. And to put it kind of fairly bluntly, I find this significantly less enjoyable than the Masochism meta was. I do think that this slows down Battlegrounds, and the fights themselves seem a lot more tedious, kind of less rewarding for the most part. Now, I'm not obviously, blind to some awesome interactions, and there are some amazing champions that obviously shine here, and that is entire point of meta changes. But overall, I genuinely must admit that the fighting bit itself, for me, seemed more enjoyable with the Masochism nodes up there. I also think that the Masochism node there enabled kind of different variations of champions that you want and do not want to use. As with everything, obviously, there is kind of like a certain meta shifting about, and also with Safeguard, there are some surprising champions that are doing better than expected, and there will be some niche uses and unique interactions, and all of that is part of Battlegrounds, which is why I love Battlegrounds so much. But overall, it still seems more frustrating to play against this than it was against Masochism, in my opinion. And yeah, I genuinely, it's not that I'm trying here to say that Safeguards should never return or anything like that. But when it comes directly to the level of enjoyment in regards of this node, I do not find it as engaging. But it's still fun, obviously. Battlegrounds, I still absolutely love them. It's just this specific node might not be necessarily, my favorite type of node to go up against. That being said, the biggest problem at the moment with the Battlegrounds, the biggest issue with the Battlegrounds by far is Cheetahs. Cheetahs. If you check out this guy, Rajamon Nicknam, his profile is like 250k. He's already done Abyss, and when you take a look at his deck, he has unranked 4 stars in his deck. And he does fights like this, for instance, where I do with Kingpin, 41 seconds, 96% left. His Rhino, that is a 6-star, rank 1 Rhino, beats Hyperion in 3 seconds. Like, good job. Good job. Previously, he was also trying to be clever and try and make it kind of legit, but he lost a round. And then he immediately just kind of sawed it and went down to 3 seconds because he was trying to be clever, used the, low rank Massacre against Null. And, some people might think that fight's possible, but again, we have some fights like this where he was trying to increase that fight time to like 30 seconds or something like that, where again, unranked Electra against Sasquatch, 26 seconds, nothing that. Sasquatch is rank 3, awakened, max MD, Electra, rank 1, done, right? And Corvus, 21 seconds. Corvus has no way to bypass Safeguard. Sure. And I had matches like that before as well, where, somebody else with a 5-star rank 2 Red Skull beats Sasquatch, and it is more and more noticeable. And it is more and more frustrating because it, from personal kind of testing experience, it entirely ruined my will to play Battlegrounds this morning. I actually finished the stream earlier than I would have. And, that last loss there against Barrow Man, I just didn't care about it anymore. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him. Me and Barrow Man was going back and forward before. You can see that I won twice, then before he won against me, and, stuff like that. We're matching fairly frequently, which is going to be the next topic that I talk about. But in that last fight, I just played awful because I was kind of fed up. That's it, because I win a match, I match a hacker. I lose a match, I get my rating back to where it started. I win a match, which is, an honest, hard-fought match, and it's not obviously by any means a guarantee that I will win it. Then I'll just match a hacker and I lose it again. Which is just, nullifies the entire time I basically did it and adds a lot to the frustration. And not that I'm trying to downplay this issue against, or whilst it is in mid-tiers, but there is a very big difference with the matchmaking. Whilst you are in middle of the pack, you can find matches very easily, and that is how I'm also gonna organically, enter the third problem that I still have, which is matchmaking. Still absolutely awful. You can still only match people that are within 50 points of your rating, and the higher you climb, the less people you can match. By the time of the previous beta, I could literally match 3 people. 3 people in the world. I needed to guess when they are going to be on, and those were the only 3 people that I could match. And, if I win against them, and let's say they knock down their rating by another 15 points, then that's it. I can't match, another person, for instance. And the matchmaking is just awful. Honestly, it's by one of the worst parts, especially when it comes towards the higher bits, because in the middle where many people might have like 15, 16, 100 rating, there's lots of people there. But the higher you go towards the top, the less people are there, and it's virtually impossible to find a match. I think in order to get that match after Battlegrounds, I had to wait again like 30 minutes or so. That is a problem that absolutely has to be addressed. I do still, obviously, I'm 100% for the idea of matching based on your Battlegrounds rating, but it just has to have some sort of additional flexibility to it. If you're not matching for a minute, for instance, then increase the variance to 100 points above or below, and then again to 150 points above or below, or something like that. Because finding matches once you climb higher is really, really hard, especially at certain times of day. And it just, again, is another one of the things that kind of ruin your experience there. It really makes you question, whether it's even worth trying to play the game mode well, or just kind of going there and goof off and test champions. At least for me, it feels that way. And especially after today's experience, where, again, I can only basically match Battleman X amount of times, or a hacker. So I can play one person who happens to be on at the same time, or I can just get an automatic loss. And that's it. And there's like not much to it. So matchmaking is genuinely, for me at the moment, one of the biggest things that is holding this entire game mode back a lot. Just the fact that it's virtually impossible to find the matches. And again, as I mentioned, hacking is a major issue with these modders. And again, they obviously need all to be rooted out. But I think it's much easier to kind of like highlight this. And, it's obvious, especially when somebody like this climbs up top with like 250k rating with 4 stars in their deck and just continuously keeps, there has to be some way how to, ban them quicker or real time, or Kabam really needs to work on it, or they need to hire somebody who is able to monitor these things like immediately, and, B, also ideally get back the points that you lost, if not give you the win bonus, because it really does affect your placement as well. And that, combined with the fact that, it's hard enough to find an opponent, and if that opponent happens to be somebody who's modding the game, then, you just want to throw the phone away. So there we go. Those are currently my biggest problems. Matchmaking, still rubbish. Really, really, really is rubbish. The system, long term, is just likely, if I want to be competitive in the game, I'm just going to ruin my excitement for it, because I can't play many people. I can play only a handful of people at specific times of the day when they happen to be on, if they want to be playing as well. And then there's obviously the mods. Overall, obviously, I'm still extremely excited for Battlegrounds. I love Battlegrounds. They can be extremely fun. They can be extremely engaging. I think it is, the best test of your ability in the game, because this isn't purely skill-based game. This isn't purely cash-based game. This isn't purely, knowledge-based game. All of those things here matter. How much time and effort you have put in your account should and does matter. How much knowledge you have about champion interactions should and does matter. And obviously how well you play. All of those things come together with additional elements of, drafting strategies or deck building and stuff like that. And I love it. It's a great game mode. I want it to be the best version of itself as it possibly can be. But I really need to address these 2 of the biggest problems. Modders, number 1. Number 2, the matchmaking. Matchmaking is just dreadful. That being said, let me know what you guys think about Battlegrounds and this second beta specifically. And yeah, drop a comment. I'll catch you guys soon. See ya.
Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about